Hello, welcome along. Today we're going to talk about bonfires and fireworks. If you think I've lost my mind, don't worry. This is about music. It's about music marketing, but it's a great way of thinking about two different strategies. And you probably are very familiar with a firework strategy without even knowing it, but you might not be as clear on a bonfire strategy. So let's explain what I'm talking about. So in really simple terms, a firework is your short-term, high-impact campaign. So when you're releasing your single, your EP, your album, all of those things will be a firework campaign, right? Short, high intensity. You look up in the sky, you see an explosion, it's wonderful, but it doesn't last very long. Okay, so that's what you're probably doing around your releases. But what you might not be doing around your releases is to think about the gaps in between, and that's where the bonfires come in. So the bonfires are about slow burn, long-term, always-on strategy. What can you do every day, every week, every month in between releases to maintain that momentum? And we talk about momentum a lot at Major Label. And so that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on the bonfires. And just to give you a bit of background where this came from. So this is a kind of social media term. So if you kind of rewind sort of 20, 30 years, I always use the example of car brands. So someone like a Honda, for example, would every now and again would make a TV advert to promote the launch of a new car, right? And they would spend a ton of money, a couple of million quid, on a TV advert to launch that new car. And once that budget had disappeared, the ad would stop running. And then they'd get some more budget because they'd sell some more cars and come back again. So you have big peaks and then big gaps, big peaks and big gaps. And what tends to happen, and I'm picking on Honda here because I'm aware of this, is that their awareness would spike obviously around the release of a new car, and then it would just drop off the kind of cliff in between. So people weren't thinking about Honda when they weren't releasing adverts. They made some great adverts back in the day, but they didn't maintain that momentum in between, right? So the advent of social media, when that came along, suddenly it gave brands like Honda and everyone else an opportunity to stay always on, right? So you didn't need to spend millions of pounds to be on social media. You could just be there maintaining some kind of presence on a day-to-day basis, right? Week-to-week basis. So that's really what it's about. And obviously social media is a great tool. It can be hugely frustrating, but it can be a great tool for musicians because it allows you to have that constant dialogue, right? When I say constant, I don't mean every day, maybe three times a week is absolutely sufficient. But there's things you can do, and we'll come on to a second. So even when you're not talking, you can maintain that momentum. So here are some ideas and some things you can do when your release has kind of run its course and you think, right, I've got to get back to writing music now. What am I doing in the meantime? Because you don't want to lose all that momentum you built up. And let's say you've attracted a bunch of new followers and new fans. If you go quiet for the next 6 months while you're writing, they're going to disappear. So here's some things you can do. You could create an artist playlist on Spotify and update it regularly. So maybe you add a new track every week or a couple of weeks and talk about it, right? So you're not just doing it blindly. You are taking time to actually share that content on your social channels and social feed and talk about the new tracks you've added, right? You could live stream a show. Obviously, live streaming is never been easier. So jumping on an Instagram Live or Facebook Live or Twitch or whatever your favorite channel is, and just start playing. I've heard someone talking about Twitter stories as well the other day as being another great place to play. I even heard of an artist playing a gig in kind of Web3 in Decentraland. So, you know, that is potentially the future. So look out for those kind of things as well. It could also be a physical show as well. Let's not forget the physical gigs. You can welcome and direct message fans. Now, this is a very simple thing to do, but it's massively forgotten. So often people think about attracting new fans as being a like, right? And once they've got that like, do they actually engage those people? Do they actually speak to those people? Probably not. So prepare a simple message, maybe save it on your phone or on your computer. And every time you get a new message, a new follower, you can send them that message, and it is meant to design to feel personal. So you could ask them a question about how they are. You could ask them if they've had a chance to listen to your music. Do they have a favorite track or a favorite album? Basically, give them a reason to respond to your message. Make them feel special. You can share lyrics or artwork. You can share any content you've shared previously that performs well. So there's a photo of you or a video clip or a live show or something that's always done well in the past, reshare it. Remember, people are coming to your social media all the time, but they very rarely look back. So there's an opportunity to keep going round and round in a kind of big circular loop. So bringing your best content back to the front every now and again does not hurt. If you look at the way influencers often use their content on social media, you often see the same images reshared. If it's great content, it can be shared more than once. You could record how to play song demos. So I saw lots of artists doing this during lockdown. So demonstrations by the guitarist about how to play the guitar part, or a pianist, or whatever it might be. But again, another way of getting people to engage with your music in an interesting way. You can share from Spotify stories, from Spotify to Instagram stories. So your music goes into the story. There's obviously a clickable link. Then you can add the lyrics. If you've got a canvas in Spotify, then that little moving video will show up as well. Again, really simple things to do. You could run low-level engagement ads. So let's say you actually just want to go on holiday for a week and you want to forget about this. Then just create a promoted post through the ad manager. There's another demo in this program will show you how to do that, just to keep some engagement going while you're away. All right, so build some engagement. And the key thing about all of this is about creating and scheduling a habit. So if you say, right, on a Tuesday, I'm always going to send messages to new fans. On a Thursday, I'm going to reshare some old content. On a Friday, I'm going to update my artist playlist. That's probably enough, right? So set those three things. Make use of the Facebook Creator Studio if you don't already, to kind of block schedule post, or you can now do it through Canva as well, or a number of other tools. So again, you don't have to be at your computer every day. You can do blocks of content in advance and schedule them so they go out. But the key thing is just not disappearing in between releases. And a bonfire strategy is something you should be thinking about to put in place to avoid that.